Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. And today our question comes from Michael Caudell, W3BBR. And he is currently doing a major remodel on his house, and he's asking some questions about grounding. And let's take a look at what he is asking. He says he sent me his new grounding plan for his home and asked what I think of it. And I'll tell you what I think of it. I think it's a doggone good design. Let's take a look. Now, this is his house right here, okay? And his station is going to be right here. And here is his single point ground panel. And he has his ground rod right here. Now, his electrical utility ground is all the way around the pool and over to here, but he is going to put 8-foot ground rods approximately every 16 feet apart. And he's going to use number 6 or thicker, which means number 4 gauge wire is thicker than 6 gauge, which is thicker than 8 or 10, 12, 14, whatever. Okay. It's weird. Like a lot of gauge things, the higher the gauge, the lower the actual thickness. He's got a tower out here. Now, generally in the tower, note he's got 2 extra ground rods. He could do a little bit more, and I want to show you this picture in here. This is from the grounding book. This is the Grounding and Bonding for the Radio Amateur, 2nd edition. Make sure you get the 2nd edition. This comes from the ARRL. You can get it on Amazon or directly from the ARRL. And he shows a bunch of different kinds of things that you can do. This is the general diagram. I know there's a lot to digest here. The dotted line is the building. Okay, here's a single point ground panel. Right here, mine is just outside the building with a line running in to an RF bonding bus, which is about a foot or so of copper pipe grounded via a nice number 2 wire all the way out to the ground panel. Here's my ham radio equipment, okay? Now, this is the closest ground rod right here, which should be right below this. Now, he has a so-called perimeter ground, which you could extend to cover the entire house all the way around. But note that he's got ground rods. Here's the AC service entry. There's the ground rod there. Now you can put in additional ground rods around this thing. You want them to be kind of no more apart than the length of 2 ground rods, which is why he's picked 16 feet. Now here's some antenna cables. They go and do their thing. And he's got the tower itself grounded, in this case, into the AC utility ground, but actually depending on where it is, it can come in anywhere on this great big giant loop here because it's all grounded. It's all at ground level. He shows 3 ground rods here, but I've seen as many as 6 out there. Okay, so you can put a ground rod right at the center and then these. Now all the ground rods should be connected by number 6 or thicker copper wire, okay? And I would recommend bare because it kind of helps a little bit with the grounding, the fact that it's bare and buried. I would recommend, if this is where your tower is, you want to connect to the perimeter ground, you could continue this way if you wanted to, but you don't have to. If I were you and had a couple extra, I might go like this, putting these no more than like 6 or 8 feet away from the tower base. And then coming in here, I would recommend coming from here to here and then coming in straight from here without this little thing here. That way, that is the single point ground for all your RF. Now, the drawing in the book technically shows this coming in over here, but for as far as your radio station is concerned, you can bring it in over to here. Now, the antenna cables, note he says there's a grounding kit here. The idea being if you put like a lightning arrestor or even just a barrel connector right there and attach it to the ground itself, it will ground the shield of the cable to the tower grounding system, and then it can run up to the antenna. So there you have it. And Michael, I think you've got an outstanding setup here for what you're doing. far more than most hams do. And I think you can be very confident with that. That's my opinion. I haven't been there, I haven't inspected. I'm not an electrical inspector. If you do have questions, consult a licensed electrician who is familiar with small scale grounding and bonding for like a home station, something like that. We're not a great big FM radio station or anything like that. We're just simple hams doing our best, okay, to keep the lightning at bay. What you do here provides a lot of paths to ground for the lightning other than going into your house. So that's a good thing to do. Until we next meet, 73.